Yeah. For the dogs, them, you know.
Everybody wanna know how shit get like this, man. In the whole city. It's just crazy right now. And shit ain't gonna stop. No shit gonna get a lot more worse before it get any better.
Look, mama hit my phone and said rap's no good. Better than her telling me the check's no good. Now they wanna act like I do no good.
So quantum entanglement is this idea that here you are in the physical world, and whatever you're doing here as far as thoughts, actions, and feelings, right, your frequency, you're starting to manipulate the quantum realm. So let's go talk about how to actually collapse time and space so you could take your life to the next level. You want to manifest a new life. You want to take your business from 6 figures a year to 6 figures a month. Like, these are things that are totally possible when you start to play with these certain laws. So one of the things I'd like to talk about here is this idea of frequencies, law of vibration. One thing that Bob Proctor taught me when I was working with him is this idea of multiple different frequencies, okay? And here's the best way that I can explain it. So you finally want to develop the life of your dreams, and the way we're going to do this is by collapsing time and space. We're going to raise our frequency, our thoughts, feelings, and actions, and anything we do in this material world is going to transmute into the spiritual realm, meaning that your goal is entangled with you, and I'm going to prove this. And what does this look like in real life results? You're gonna make more money. Whatever you made last year, you're gonna make that per month. One thing I learned from Bob Proctor, he said things like how to turn your annual income into your monthly income. And at the time, I didn't really believe him, but after applying these principles that you're gonna learn in today's video, I turned my annual income into my weekly income. So let's run it. Let's go ahead and talk about this first one. And the best way I can explain the law of vibration, the law of frequencies, is by talking about this right here. Alrighty. All right, guys. So let's talk about the law of vibration. So in this example here, you're thinking on frequencies, okay? You have a lower plane of thought. But in the matrix, there's a higher version of yourself. The version that's earning the money that you want. The simple fact that you can see yourself earning that money, that goal, the thing that you want, means that it's complete. So what we need to do is we need to jump frequencies, kind of like tapping into a new Wi-Fi signal. Version of you here. Version of you here. How are we going to do that? This is what I call fuse the frequency. So because there's a law of vibration that states that there's infinite amounts of frequencies, the things that come in and out of your life, aka your manifestation, are the same things that are on the same frequency as you. This is the money, the car, the girlfriend, your way of life, all that kind of stuff. That's your frequency, your thinking patterns. If we want to go to the next level, we have to start to think, feel, and act like a higher version of ourselves. How do we do that? You're gonna have to make a decision, man. Remember when we talked about A-type, B-type, C-type goals? What is the fantasy that you want, man? What fantasy do you want? Go after it with all your heart, with a magnificent obsession. Fuse the frequency, start to think and feel and act like that person, and just watch how it starts to flow. Oh wow. Oh, hey, buddy. I'm sorry. Oh, snap. Ah. Hello. I gotta lose some weight. Too much food. Okay, so the first thing we're talking about is this. A real goal stretches you beyond your past. So a true goal isn't something that you've done before. It's something that forces you to think bigger and do something that you've never done. So like I said on the camel there, we have anywhere from 60 to 70,000 thoughts every single day. And the thing that's happening is that you keep thinking the same thoughts consistently over and over and over again. Same things. In order to go to the next level, the way I like to think of it is as you think big, you act big. If you act big, you get big results. Okay, so I had a client last night and he was thinking, DeAndre, I want to make $10,000 a month. And I said, dude, you're thinking too small. Because let's just say right now you're selling a high ticket thing and you're making, $5,000 per sale. Let's just say an example, it could be 2,000, whatever. That's not the point. Right, let's just say your goal is to make 10,000 a month. If you wanted to make 10,000 a month, what would things that you would need to do to get maybe 3 sales per month? Well, you'd probably do things like DMs. You'd probably post on Instagram stories. Maybe you do some TikTok videos. Maybe send out some emails, make some YouTube videos, right? You're gonna do random things because at the end of the day, what you need to do to hit this goal is you only need to sell 3 products in order to hit 10K a month if you're selling $3,000 things, okay? Follow me here. Follow this example. But when you come in here and you set a big audacious goal, right? What I call a magnificent obsession. what will start to happen? Let's just say your goal is to make 100,000 a month. Well, those methodologies are not going to work. You're not going to send DMs and start making 100K a month. You're not going to send emails and make 100K a month. You're not going to start a YouTube channel this month and start making 100K a month unless you're applying these principles like I did in my first month, right? And so what's happening is as you start to think in higher frequencies, you start to download plans, ideas that you never had before. And like, as I explained to my client last night, when I was working with Bob Proctor and I was selling his mindset program, Thinking into Results, and I was selling it for $7,000 per person, right? So if my goal was only to make $10,000 per month, I would be sending out DMs, honestly. But that's not what I did. Because I learned this principles here, I set a C-type goal, a fantasy. And with this fantasy, my goal was to make 100,000 a month. So I started doing things that I had never would have thought of before, using my imagination to go to the next level. And that's why I actually hit it. So that's why in number 1 here, a goal stretches you to do things that you've never done before. Okay, so number 2, the purpose of a goal is growth. Okay, that's what we're here. You're not here to get a fancy watch. You're not here to put $1 million in your bank account. What you really want is growth. The real question is who? Who do you need to become in order to hit that? That's the most fulfilling thing. Let me tell you this, guys. Like, I'll be open and vulnerable that, you know, last month was one of the most profitable months that I've had in some time, right? But I felt like I wasn't fulfilled, right? I wasn't the most excited. Like, I have all this money in the savings account, I invested into all this stuff, but I wasn't that excited about life like I was when I was just hustling. And this is a perfect example of, like, you can have the fancy watch, a bunch of money, and still not feel like you're really excited about life, because it's not about the money. It's about the journey. It's about who you become in the process. Is the work that you're doing is fun? Like, I love this work. I love making YouTube videos. I love working with clients, and I find way more excitement in doing that. Like, I want to make $1 million a month. I also want to have the 1 million YouTube subscribers, but I want to have a community. I want to be around you guys. I want you guys to come here to Dubai, have a cigar with me at a lounge. Like you guys are seeing this content that we're making here through this throughout the day with Aziz behind the camera. And so, like, I want you guys to come experience that with me, right? And so, like, that is where I find fulfillment. It's not just, you know, making money. And I'm telling you guys, for those of you that are not making money, you think that money's going to solve all of it. No, you want to have fulfillment. So it's all about growth. A goal should pull hidden potential out of you, talents, ideas, strengths, things that you didn't know before. Like, right now I'm in a position where I'm investing heavily into the team, into coaching, into new employees and everything to take the brand to the next level. And I'm noticing I'm having to do things I've never done. Like, just today, Aziz and I were making this YouTube video, and, like, I didn't really have a plan. Like, I had an idea, but I don't really know exactly how to make these videos work. Like, I need to teach on this iPad, or at least I think I do. But I also want to mix in lifestyle. So me and Aziz are going back and forth of, like, creating something that we've never done before. That's the fun part. Creating something you've never done before. Working on my leadership, working with my team. Like, that's the fun part, man. You're going to go out there and you're going to build your dream life. And that's the part that's going to make you the most excited, is going after something that's causing you to grow. Growing your leadership, money management, marketing. That's the fun part. Let's continue. Number 3 here. If you already know how to do it, is not big enough. And this goes back to what I said on the camel over there, which is a B-type goal. And the best way to explain it is, actually, let's go and cut to the camel right now, and I'll explain the difference between an A-type goal, a B-type goal, and a C-type goal. All right, guys, so we got the line of camels here. So let's talk about it. There's 3 types of goals that we can go after: A-type, B-type, and C-type is the thing I learned from Bob Proctor. So let's talk about an A-type goal. An A-type goal is going after something that you know already. So let's just say you're making $10,000 a month a few months ago, start your business, had to start over, and then your goal is to do it again. That's what we call an A-type goal. We don't want to be there. Then we have a B-type goal. A B-type goal is looking at your outside resources, the amount of followers that you have, the amount of views that you're getting, your resources, and based on what you see, you formulate your goal. It's what you think you can do. You can formulate a plan. If you have a plan to go to the next level, it's not going to work, man. Because what happens is you have anywhere from 60 to 70,000 thoughts every single day. And if you have a plan, you're probably doing the same thing every single day. The third one here. Man, these camels are right on me, guys. The third one here. He's walking faster than me, guys. I'm getting used to walking in the sand. I got my sandals here. I think he's a friend. We're going to stop him right here. The one that you really want to go after, guys, is a C-type goal. It's your fantasy. It's what you really want. You formulate your imagination. What is it that you want? How much money you want to make? what city you want to live in, what kind of relationship that you want, and use your imagination to formulate what it is that you want your life to look like. When you formulate that, you're gonna form a fantasy. You're gonna put together a game plan of what it would look like to have that, to go after that. And what will happen, law of perpetual transmutation states, whatever image you hold in your mind, your fantasy, if you put some feeling behind it and action behind it, it'll start to manifest. So here's what we're gonna do. Get out a piece of paper and pen and write down exactly what you want your life to look like. I got my goal card on me. See this? Bob Proctor told me to put my goal on a card like this. Within 45 days, I hit it, my goal. Now I got my new updated one. Why? Because I formulated a C-type goal, a fantasy, something I had no idea how to do. Because it caused me to think big, I started acting big. As I started acting big, I got bigger results. Big like these camels. He's like a good 6-7 feet, right? Yeah. All right, guys, that's what we're gonna do there. All right, so now we're coming back finally, okay? And we just came back from the camel walking video, A-type, B-type, C-type goals. So now that you know the difference between an A-type goal, a B-type goal, and a C-type goal, you want to only have one goal. Just for clarity, it's a C-type goal. It's your fantasy. Why? Because as we look at point number 3 here, if you already know how to do it, it's not big enough. And this goes back to what I said. You need to think outside the frequency. You're thinking on frequencies here, right? That's your thoughts. That's your thoughts, feelings, and actions. In order to go to that next level, let's just say you want to take your business from 10,000 a month to 100,000 a month. And by the way, you can do that this month. You're going to have to raise your frequency. And that means you're going to have to think thoughts that you've never done. And if your goal is not big enough, it's not going to work, man. So if you already know the path, it's not really a goal. It's just a task. It's just something on your to-do list. Real goals require you to figure things out along the way. And this YouTube video is a perfect example of it. Like whatever YouTube video that me and Aziz just put up on YouTube right now, let me tell you, it's something that we figured out just a couple hours ago, right? How are we mixing lifestyle and educational content and talking on camels, and how do we make it interesting so you're not just staring at this pretty face all day, right? Yeah, how we go. Number 4, real goals are born from desire and not logic. That goes to the fantasy, man. What do you really want? You know, I was talking to a new hire that we just brought onto the team. And he said, DeAndre, you know, how many appointments did you set last month? And there's 2 things that I told him. I was like, dude, I only enrolled 6 clients last month. 6 clients brought in about $90,000 in business. But I was like, that was the first part. I was like, I brought in 6 clients. The next thing I said is like, but it doesn't matter how much business we've done. What do you want to create? Because what you're about to create here as setting for this team and closing deals, what you're about to create right now has never been done, man. It's never been. Actually, he just texted me. Isn't that crazy? He just texted me. That's the law of frequency, man. He literally just texted me. But you get to create what you want. I said, how much money do you want to make? Visualize yourself with a booked out calendar. You get to create something from scratch. And that's the fun thing about going after your goal, man, is that you're going to create a reality that you've never built before. And that's the fun part. You're going to go to your fantasy and you're going to go over after what you want. And when you're going after it, it's not going to make sense. It's not going to be logical. You're never going to stay committed to something that you kind of want. You gotta go for something big. It takes the same amount of energy to close a small deal as it is a big deal. Like, for example, I'm making a YouTube video right now. We've been planning this. We've been working on it. It takes me the same amount of energy to get 1,000 views on this video as it does 100,000 views. The only difference is our production value, aka our frequency in which we make this video. But the same time, the same hour or 2 that it took us to make this video, we could get 10 times more views. That's called leverage. And the same thing with whatever it is you're selling. Your agency, your consulting, your trading, the same trade, you could take the same trade and make 10 times more money. You can make a sale, but sell a product that has an extra 0 at the end of it, and you do the same work but make way more money, right? So that's an example. Whenever you're going after something, you're gonna have to be obsessed. You're gonna have to go after something that you truly want, and you're gonna have to use your willpower to exclude everything that's going on around you, man. During those very tough times, those very deep times that I was figuring out my life, man, it was my vision of goals of what I wanted and the dreams and desires. Like, you're like me, like, you're a millionaire. No matter how hard things are, you're gonna figure things out. But here's the thing: are you going after what you truly want, and are you betting on yourself? Are you taking the risks? Like last night, I was talking to one of my good friends, and I was like, man, he's turning 32 years old, and he hasn't had those successes, and he's invested a lot in himself and coaching and stuff, and he's just not getting the results. And I told him, I was like, bro, the reason you're not working is you're not taking those big risks. You're not going after something that you're passionate about. You're just working to work, but you're not working on a passion project. And you're the type of person that you need to get your heart involved in your work. That's how I am. You guys think this is a business? This is my life. I really enjoy what I do. And I told this to him, and I was like, dude, you're going after something that's like monetary. Like, you got to get your heart behind what you want, and you got to get obsessed. And when you get obsessed, you can take those risks. And let me tell you, it's called risk stacking. And as I was explaining this to one of my to a group of clients that we had last night, is like risk stacking. Like, okay, so let's talk about the first $100,000 month that I had working with Bob Proctor. Let's just stack all the risks that I took to achieve that. So everybody sees I went 0 to 100,000 a month in 45 days from sleeping in a car, right? When I was working with Bob Proctor. But let's stack the amount of risk that I took, right? The first risk was hiring Bob Proctor, right? It was a $30,000 ticket to become a consultant, but I put $5,000 on my grandfather's credit card. So there's two risks right there. The first risk was putting it on a credit card. Second one was somebody else's credit card, right? The third risk, I guess we can say, is I committed to monthly payments of $3,000 a month when I was only making $1,000 driving per Uber, okay? So that's three risks right there. The next risk that I took was going all in. At the time I was driving Uber, I stopped driving Uber and I went all in on this mindset stuff. I didn't even know what I was selling. I didn't know any of this stuff. I just went all in. Imagine stopping your job right now, stopping your current business, stopping everything that you're doing to go all in on something, right? It's like Aziz stopping his agency to come work with me full time with no like vision, like just like going all in. It's a scary thing to go all in on something. That was the fourth risk that I took. I stopped what I was doing to make money to go all in on this new business with no idea of what I was even doing. The next risk that I took was going to Colombia. I packed my bags with less than $30 to my name, and within a couple days, money came in, and I flew to a different country because sleeping on that couch that I was in during the period, it wasn't working for me. I had to get into a positive environment, so I flew to another country with no income, with just a little bit of money in my account, and I left to a new country to build a new life. That was in 2020, right? So there's that. And by the way, this is in a matter of 30 days. And then I landed in Colombia during pandemic, and guys, it just started risk after risk after risk after risk. But I bet on myself because I was going after something that I was obsessed about this material, about learning how to go to the next level. That's what I call risk stacking, man. If you're gonna want to go to the next level, and you're gonna have to be obsessed. And when you're obsessed, you're gonna take those risks, and those risk stacking like that. At the end of the day, when you see those numbers and those numbers come in your bank account, the views come in, I'll know how hard you worked, and I'll know the amount of risk that you took and the risk stacks that you did to get to the next level. Because all those risks that I just mentioned, that 5 to 6 risks, that's what resulted in the 100K month. They think I just record YouTube videos and stuff. No, you're gonna have to go out there and take those risks. Number 5, and we've talked about this a little bit when we were on that camel here. There's 3 types of goals here. The first one here is A-type goal, a B-type goal, and a C-type goal. Okay, so let's break it down here. A-type goal. An A-type goal is going after something what you already know how to do. An example is repeating last year's results. So let's just say last year you made $300,000, okay? And your goal this year is to make $300,000 again. We'd call that an A-type goal. It's going after something that you already know how to do. Then we have a B-type goal. It's what you think you can do. The best way I can say it, it's a safe stretch and it feels achievable. And you look at your outside results. So you're gonna use your eyes, and based on how many views you're getting, you're gonna dictate how many sales you're gonna get. I'll give you an example. Or actually, this is better for a C-type goal. But here's an example. Last month, my channel only got 50,000 views. If I was to look at about the results and see how many views I'm getting, I would think, damn, this is a slow month. Because typically my channel averages about 100,000 views per month. So I got less than half the views. I was like 48,000 views. So if I was to allow the outside world and my eyes to dictate my decisions, I would think I'm gonna have less sales. But I actually did 3 times more sales, or no, double the sales with less views. Because I wasn't operating based on what I'm seeing, I was operating based on what I want to, the decision I made in my conscious mind, the feelings I was operating on, and the actions that I was taking. Right? And then the final one here, I'm gonna go ahead and do it in yellow here, is a C-type goal. This is the magic one. This is where you wanna be. This is what you deeply want, even if it's impossible today. It's born from your imagination. Like, you think I have any clue how I'm gonna scale my business to $1 million per month? I have some ideas, like I need some ads, I need some coaching, I need Aziz behind the camera to help me make better YouTube videos. That's why he's been with me pretty much all day. Like, I have some ideas to get there, but I don't actually know. I'm just trying things, and I'm trying things to get there, right? It's because it's born from an imagination, not only to get the 100,000 the $1 million per month, but also 1 million YouTube subscribers. I really love this project. I sold Aziz on this opportunity. I'm like, bro, if we can do this together, how many lives will we change? How many people can we bring together? Live events, products, applications, coaching, like money, like everything, all of our dreams. For example, myself, the dreams that I have, the dreams that Aziz has, it's all behind this camera right here. And be able to produce content to change your life and the lives of other people watching this video so they can go to the next level. You see, man, that's an imagination. That's a dream. That's a fantasy, right? And it gets you exciting. Like, can you hear it in my voice? Like, I'm in a hotel lobby right now, so I'm not trying to yell, but let me tell you, I'd be like, yes, sir, right now, getting hyped because I'm excited about what I do. I'm excited about what we're doing here. This is my life that I'm talking about. This is your life that you're talking about. When you're going after what it is that you want, are you really going after that desire? Stop playing small. Stop going after what you know how to do. Stop going over what you think you can do. Go after that fantasy. Go after something that gets you excited about life. I know you just watching the segment, this is getting you hyped right now, but it's not about hype. It's about getting after something that's getting you excited because you deep down know that's what you're meant to do on this earth. And it requires you to let go of the how. And all that fancy stuff. I don't know how we're gonna do it, but that's the fun part. Like Bob would say in our consulting programs, he say like, you don't know how, and that's the fun. Is the journey. It's the journey. Like as Aziz and I are sitting here and we're thinking about what kind of videos to make and the editing styles, we're figuring some stuff out even right before we hit record. Like that's the fun part. And then we're gonna put it out to the marketplace. And if it fails, it flops, that's fine. We're gonna learn and we're gonna make another one and we're gonna make it better. We're gonna make it better. And guess what? You'll find us in 6 months as production goes to the next level. We have more subscribers, more views, everything is going up. And that's because of the risk, the learning, and the things that we're taking in right now. So this is what you're gonna wanna do to go to the next level. So apply this to your life and you're gonna have some fun. Go out there, build your dream life. And if you want some help with this, click the first link in the description below. But anyways, our driver's sitting out here. We're going to have to go and hop in the car. We're going to get back to Dubai. And I'll see you here soon.